Should you buy clones? What are clones? Should you support that industry?
You're not necessarily paying for the product, you're paying for the brand itself.
And it's basically stock, Zach. You buy keycap sets, you don't use them, you throw them on the third-party market, and you upsell them.
You want to use someone like, them incorporating characters and turning it into something a little bit different.
Yeah. In my opinion, that's different than taking that artwork and slapping it on a mouse pad. LimeWire, YouTube to MP3, burning CDs.
Then we go into sampling and those types of things.
Now we enter the magical YouTube word, fair use.
That gets so complicated.
Everybody loves fair use. We think we get it, but we don't get it. Do we get it?
I have no idea what's going on.
Who gets it? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to An Education Station. I am Arthur. I am with Zach.
Hello.
Classic. We waste no time.
We waste no time.
No time here wasted.
No time for intros.
No time for intros. Time for intros are none. Welcome back to An Education Stations again. We are talking. I am tired. It's a classic routine here. I'm drinking G Fuel. I'm throwing my phone. I still have the origami crane. I should just make one crane a day and then just see how many cranes pile up on the table.
I think you should make one after each episode and just see what happens.
I think so. I think that'd be great. My hair is a mess. I need to get a haircut.
My hair is also a mess.
Yes, except your hair is, for some reason, forms better naturally. Mine is just, hey, do you want to look like crackhead, Justin Bieber, or anime? And I'm like, I don't know. Can I pick? No, you can't.
It's all at once.
It's all at once. So today I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. Oh man, Zach. Oh man, it feels like it's been forever, but alas, it has only been a couple days, especially for the people. Hopefully you guys have been good. I love doing this show, Zach.
I do too. I enjoy it a lot. And it's funny because like every time I come to the studio and we just kind of get set up and everything, feels like it's been forever.
I know.
Even though I talked to you like less than 12 hours ago.
I know, literally, because we're playing Black Ops Zombies the other night.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. You never just started doing that? My stream stuff with Anuki. I've been having a lot of fun because it's like, bro, you can just never pass down a game of town, BO2 town.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. Like I knew about BO3 zombies being like this, like the whole modded scene. It's always been a thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen videos of it, but I've never really like done it. So this is the first time I've actually done it. I'm like, dude, this is fascinating. I love this a lot. I need to fix my hair now. You go ahead.
Of course, we had to use the anime girls as our character. And it's been really fun because it's brought back that kind of classic nostalgic, like, training zombies on town and trying not to die and just having a grand old time. And we've done like a couple of different maps that have been super fun, and they're community made maps, which is the coolest part, because like the attention to detail that they have put into these maps is just absolutely insane.
And a shout out to Sora for helping set all that up, at least helping set it up for me at the time, because I don't understand these things, Zach.
It's okay.
Not because I'm an old man. That's partly true, but partly is that I just never, I can't be asked. Other things I need to put my focus on for technology reasons.
You're like,
Black Ops 3 Zombies is not part of it. It's not on the list.
You're like, I can build a computer, troubleshoot a computer, but I can't set up a game of town on Black Ops 3.
No, that's where I draw the line, Zach. That's where I draw the line. But it has been a lot of fun playing video games. A lot of fun again. I'm glad I'm streaming again. I'm still really busy though on my editing side, but I'm trying to pick back up. Once I do, I'll be a lot happier. It'll be chilling. I'll stream more, do more keyboard, do more stream, and it's great. Have you thought about streaming again, Zach?
Dude, honestly, the more that we kind of play games together, the more I just want to set up my camera and start streaming. It's just kind of like,
you know what you need, Zach? You need one of those Uzani, whatever, those quick releases that I have.
Oh, yeah.
And then whenever you want to stream, you just be like, all right, time to stream. Oh, it's time to be photographer.
Time to be photog.
Time to tag.
You were telling me that you were dabbling in some photag, Raffy.
Okay, I say dabbling. I just took a selfie in the mirror with the camera because it was for my happy birthday picture. Because I was doing a happy birthday tweet. And I was like, I take it with my phone, or I take it with a Sigma 16 1.8, or 1.4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I decided to weigh my options. I was like, this would be more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fun when you have the equipment to be able to just
Yeah.
take the most ridiculously high quality selfies.
Well, I've learned. Well, first of all, smartphone cameras are pretty good,
They are.
and even if I were to like be blasphemous and use the portrait mode, and I don't use too much blur, just a little bit blur, because if you use portrait mode and use too much blur, you're a fucking idiot. Just use a little bit, just a little bit,
a tasteful amount.
a tasteful amount.
Yeah,
I'm joking, by the way,
maybe.
but I came to the real now that I have that quick release, Zach, and I have a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4, and I'm gonna use it for things, but I'm just like, I feel like I should treat myself with the excuse to use my camera more.
Yeah.
As long as, because I have the quick release, if I'm careful, I can just, and then, although I have to completely remove it every time I want to because it conflicts with the mount whenever, or with the thing,
Speed booster. Yeah.
because it's just poorly designed. I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe if the tripod thing was a little lower. Nobody knows what we're talking about, Zach.
Nobody
cares. But basically, I have this nice camera that I bought for myself for Christmas, and it looks beautiful. We've been using it for the podcast. It used to not have clean HDMI out. Now it does, and it's been fantastic. For some reason, I never firmware updated it. I was just blind, but it looks great and it's been fantastic. But I've been meaning to do more cinematography. That's why I got the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4, and now I have this ability to just, if I ever want to, I can just literally say click, take a pic,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find more excuses to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, the more,
Even if they're simple.
right? Yeah, that's the fun part, is when you feel comfortable enough with the camera that you can just kind of whip it out and just start snapping photos of stuff, like like what I do at the skate park, or like any of that kind of stuff. That's a lot of times that's just kind of like spur of the moment, just like whatever. Let's just have a grand old time. And since you have cameras to choose from around the studio,
That I do.
you can kind of pick your poison, and you have a good little kit of prime lenses, which is really nice.
Yeah, I don't have any zoomy boys. I've been meaning to get them, but they're so expensive.
Bro,
So,
okay, bro, dude.
Bro, dude. Yeah, what?
The Sigma 16 to 35,
Yeah, I know.
1.8.
Yeah, I know.
is fantastic. Ben has it.
I know it's fantastic. I thought you were going to say super fucking expensive. Well, I think the EFM mount is like 800 or so, and the EF is...
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Which is a lot of money for those who don't understand camera talk, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not that bad. Comparatively.
I was about to say, bro, I almost bought a manual focus lens for $800.
I know. Oh, by the way, when we were taking photos the other day, Zach mentioned that the lens had no autofocus. And I was like, I swear it has autofocus. Turns out, we were just being dumb. You turn on autofocus on the camera.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I thought about this after the shoot, and I was like, nah. And then I used a Sigma the other night, for my little selfie that I never take selfies. Decided to do it, Zach. Decided to treat myself.
To a selfie.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. Because when I tested the lens out, it for sure had it, So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Anyways, you keep talking. I need to position my light differently.
It's all good. Yeah, it was kind of funny though, because I was super confused because I switched from my 85 millimeter to your 16, and it went from autofocus doing autofocus stuff to just deciding not to do so. And so I was just very, very confused. But yeah, I mean, there are some pretty good budget price range like zoomy boy lenses. Like Tamron makes a bunch of really good ones.
That they do.
Obviously Sigma and a bunch of other third parties that just do an absolutely amazing job of giving you that high quality that you want, while also making it so that you can still take some damn good pictures at the same time. So I mean, if you look, you'll be able to find it.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna, maybe I just go and find some Chinese knockoff brands on AliExpress and I'll be vibing. That sounds fun, actually. I wonder what they would look like if they exist.
Bro, okay. That would be so much fun.
Since I've been into keyboards, Zach, I've begun to shop in AliExpress more.
Right.
Not that you should, but it's, it's hard not to, especially when keycaps are so expensive and stuff. By the way, I bought my first GMK set. Do you know what that means?
Mm-mm.
So GMK, we're talking about hobbies right now, y'all. And this is currently my hobby. Hobbyism! Use case. I've been into keyboards. And GMK is a manufacturer of keycaps that is known to be like the top tier, god tier quality.
Okay.
I'm like, you want a nice keycap set? You can get GMK white on black, GMK black on white, GMK Hennessy, GMK Godspeed, GMK Laser. And what artists do is they have a design and they go to GMK to make that set, and they range for like upwards $100+.
Damn.
I know, for plastic, Zach. I will never know why. And they're always group buys. You can't buy them in stock. They're drops, because that's more fun and it makes more money, Zach.
Yeah, because, if there's no supply and the demand is high, the second that there's any supply at all, it's just poof.
Exactly.
Gone.
I was talking with Brady the other day, Rogue Potato, and there's this one set called GMK Darling. And apparently it's going on, it's like, so GMK sets usually like around like $120 to $150 for the base set. You want the novelties, the fun keycaps, then another like 40 or 60. And you can get to 200 pretty quick, Zach. And this one called GMK Darling, which is based on, not officially licensed, of course, but may or may not have a slight relationship, but is not, but you may understand the similarities, but is not related to a girl from an anime called Darling in the Franxx. 02, the #1 waifu of all time, unanimously voted. Apparently it's going for like $800. For some plastic, Zach.
I thought you were gonna say you copped them, and then you said $800.
Now, okay, I cannot lie and say it hadn't crossed my mind, but I don't have any boards that would. I mean, I do have a board. I do have a couple red boards coming in, so GMK Darling would be pretty fun. But I see. It's gonna be hard. I kind of do. I'm not sure. Really quick. Do you want to move my light? It's not pointing at me. Thank you. Sorry, protection things. So this idea that we've danced around this idea many times. You can move it closer to me if you want to. I think you probably could do that. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Okay. So this idea of like bootleg, rip-off, knockoffs, AliExpress stuff, bang, Alibaba,
Right.
And I don't know how in-depth we've dabbled in it, but I don't remember how long it's been since we've dabbled in it, and my viewpoints have changed a lot. Or not, it hasn't changed, it's matured, and I have different opinions on it, especially after getting into the keyboard scene.
Right.
So I mentioned that GMK Darling, and GMK sets, I don't have it on me, it's over there, but really nice, very sharp, very, very nice keycaps, probably very good, good feeling as well. I haven't tippity tapped on them yet. I haven't used them on a board yet, but that's what you get, that type of really good premium quality for the premium price tag.
Right.
I agree. I don't think it should be that expensive, but that's okay. That's besides the point. And then you look at like AliExpress, and you find the same GMK Darling knockoff for like $35. Now,
do they look the same though?
They look the same. Quality wise, no. Not at all, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is where that dilemma comes in. Now, this debate in the keyboard space has been forever. Clones, should you buy clones? What are clones? Should you support that industry? And I feel like the answer is like, it's split 50-50.
Right.
Like, it's not like, hey, those are fakes, you shouldn't do it. It's literally 50-50. And the reason why it's even considered acceptable is because these damn keycaps are too expensive and they're on drops, limited times.
Right.
What if you're building a keyboard and you want to build one keyboard, Zach? You're not really into the hobby. You just want one nice keyboard and you're going to live on your day, you know, coding or some shit, whatever you do, because, you know, people be coding these days, Zach.
Playing Minecraft
While coding for Minecraft, you know, something like that.
Right.
And they have a keycap, they find one, because if you don't, you know, if you want a legit keycap set, you look around and that's in stock or whatever, and they're all okay, but they're all lame-ish, you know, or they're not lame, but your selection is very limited now to in stock keycaps. And then you find one that is you find one that you like, and it's no longer in group buy or pre-order or whatever, or there's no more extras, which would mean like extra like if there was a group buy, for example, which basically means a pre-order, but a step before that. And you would enter this group buy, and then depending on how many people do it, they make a certain amount. Like, let's say 1,000 people enter the group buy, or like say like 959 people enter the group buy. They make 1,000 sets. Now there's 61 extras. 61 extras you could sell off and at a really high price, and you can still get it. That's a guess. I don't know exactly how that works, because I know how, like, you know, buying in bulk works. That's just how I assume that's how that works. But that's how that goes. Except in the real life, if there's extras, it would be on clearance or something. No, it's actually more expensive. And then you buy those, and it's basically stock, Zach. You buy keycap sets, you don't use them, you throw them on the third-party market, and you upsell them. That's how that works, Zach. Because of that, and y'all already know how I feel about that. As a person in the computer community, that's some bullshit. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I hate that. That's stupid as fuck. So that's why I personally am on the band of these clones, because they're not expensive, they're always in stock, and they're not as good quality. If they were the same quality, now there's another two different arguments. See, it's getting really fucking confusing. Why can't they just make these GMK sets in stock? That would just solve all the problems. But so there's this dilemma number 2 within like this dilemma flow chart, Zach.
Yes.
You have the keycap set now, and you could buy whenever you want, and they're cheaper, but they're not as good quality. They're die sub PBT. And, you know, I'm not gonna just start. But basically, it's like like printing the design onto the keycap rather than printing different layers and molds on top of it. So you can see how that can get, like, even these legends. They look pretty nice, but you start to look closely, and they look fine. And then you look at a GMK set, and you're like, wow, that's a lot sharper. You know?
Yeah.
You know, these start to look a little blurry, like it's obviously just printed on. You know. Or not. Okay, I'm using loose terms to explain the general idea. I apologize if I offended anybody. If I offended anybody, you're probably in like 15 different GMK group buys and you hate your life. So, now dilemma number 2. What if the knockoffs are the same quality?
Ooh, that's an interesting predicament.
That is a predicament. There are knockoffs that are higher quality, like they go double shot PBT and stuff, but not quite double shot ABS that GMK does. And yeah, it starts to get a little blurry there. I think, like you can defend it 2 ways. One way is that, okay, if it's the same quality, like they can't make the same quality for less. That'd be ripping. That would be, you know, now they're just ripping off, like they're plagiarizing and selling it for cheaper. The second argument is that, well, if they can make the same exact quality for cheaper, then GMK should be able to, and now GMK is upselling.
Yeah, I mean,
or not upselling, but bloating the price.
Yeah. And I mean, it could be said as well in a lot of different hobbies where, you know, you have that brand, you have that company that is super popular, like let's say Supreme or something like that in clothing, or like Louis Vuitton, or, you know, whatever. You know, you're not necessarily paying for the product, you're paying for the brand itself. And you know, the fact that they're selling a t-shirt that's made out of the same material as that Demon Slayer shirt that you're wearing, and they're selling it for $150, it's like, that's bullshit.
It's not how much this shirt costs, by the way. I hope.
No.
Shouldn't spend $150 on a shirt. Sorry.
No, you're good.
My true feelings started to leak for a second. I apologize.
You know, it's like, it's the same material, but you're paying for the brand that is on it. And that just becomes an entirely different thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just, you should know what you're doing. Like, you're not buying the shirt, you're buying the logo.
Right.
Same thing you could say with like Nike versus fucking whatever Amazon Basics in-house athletic wear is, right?
Yeah, or
you're
like
buying Nike.
You know, my $15 Kirkland specials that I bought at Costco.
Right, exactly.
You know, they're shoes. They're shoe stuff. They comfy. They work. And, you know, I don't want to spend $200 on a pair of shoes just for me to, you know, step in a puddle and then be sad.
Yeah, that being said, I got my first pair of expensive shoes, and I kind of get it now. Maybe when you do, you'll kind of get it, but I don't know.
I mean, Arthur, the climbing shoes that I wear are like as expensive as like Air Force Ones.
Fuck. Okay, but at the same time, those are meant to get kind of roughy tuffy.
Yeah, that's
puffy
true. And
chuffy.
Fluffy. You know, it's really a hard fine line that you walk when you're dealing with any type of hobby, because there's going to be the extremes on both sides of it. There's the extreme of like balling on a budget, you know, weird Chinese knockoff $10 keycaps, and then, you know, on the other extreme, like you were saying, the $800 keycaps that are in group buy that you can't get unless you're in the group buy, and then they end up getting upsold. Yeah,
well, they're $200-ish because that's how, or $100 to $200-ish, and then they turn $800 when they enter the third party market, right? Because they know the people want it.
Right.
And if you wanted that bad, you should just fucking in stock. But then another dilemma that happens is that these designs are made by people.
Right.
By artists. So it's like, can you rip off their work? I'm in the camp where you shouldn't rip off their work. That's stupid. But it's not as the same quality. It's like, what the fuck? What are we doing here now? You know, it's like, it's tough. But, see, and I've explained many times, it's the reason why, like, whenever I do designs, like whenever I work with a designer for my things, I try not to use fan art.
Yeah,
like for anime stuff, like my banner from my Twitter, you know, or my AVI or something, my Twitch overlays and stuff.
Yeah,
those are all official art, because that's, I mean, yeah, I'm still taking artwork without permission, but it's not like fan art, you know, it's official art, so it's a little easier to stomach. That gets harder, right? But you know, but now I'm leaning on I'm standing on a line now, you know, like I'm justifying it, but it's not completely. But you get that I'm not trying to, you know, I have good intentions, but it's not you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. It's that weird kind of in between, the moral in between of like defending the fact that, you know, you want to use someone like official artwork from like an anime or something like that, but also, you know, you're not just slapping it on a t-shirt and trying to sell it.
No,
like,
I would never. You know, no, that's just stupid. You know,
right. Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, you know, if you like, for example, for your Twitch banner and everything like that, all the artwork that you commission someone to create for your channel. First of all, super sick. The banner for our YouTube channel is fucking sick. Oh, yes. I love it. And so, you know, them incorporating characters into something that is not just the official artwork itself and turning it into something a little bit different.
Yeah.
That is kind of like, I see that as more okay than just taking someone else's work as it is and trying to monopolize on it and capitalize on it.
Right, because now we enter the magical YouTube word, fair use.
that gets so complicated.
Yeah, the magic. Everybody loves fair use. We think we get it, but we don't get it. Do we get it?
Idea what's going on.
Who gets it? Nobody gets it. Do you get it? This YouTuber who's been doing it for 10 plus years, does he get it?
No.
Nobody gets it. Fair use is a law that exists on opinion. That cannot be a law, Zach. Something needs to be done. You shouldn't be able to negotiate your way out of a law. That's not how that works.
Yeah, and the whole fair use thing, like YouTube ended up just getting absolutely bent over by fair use and like copyright and everything like that. Because like, you know, back in the day when YouTube was the wild west, you know, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And then as YouTube kind of became more, I don't want to say corporate, but like as they started being a little bit more strategic and a little bit more business minded when it comes to their platform, that's when they really started to crank down on like copyright and stealing other people's content and like re-uploads and everything like that. But I mean, you know, if you look hard enough, you're going to find what you're looking for.
Yes.
Because YouTube is so massive that you just can't monitor it. And like the way that they've tried to optimize it using like AI and those types of things, those aren't foolproof.
They're not.
You know? But it's just, oh man. You just opened a can of worms.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, so now is it if a designer, like a designer from my community or whatever, takes fan art and makes their own thing, you know, but uses the fan art as assets, but creates this this really cool thing. Is that still considered stealing? What if they asked and they really wanted to use that artwork and they didn't get a reply, or that person's DM is closed, or they don't speak the same language? Because that's, in my opinion, that's different than taking that artwork and slapping it on a mouse pad.
I agree. And even the mouse pad that your mouse pad.
Well, this one uses official art, you know. But what if they're slapping it on a shirt? Because you can go on like Redbubble or Teespring or whatever, and you can find all these shirts and designs with just artwork slapped on top of it, and they're everywhere.
Right.
And if you didn't know, you would just be like, "That's a cool shirt. I watched that anime. Yeah, hell yeah!" And you wouldn't know. You wouldn't check out the artist because the artist isn't linked. Or rather, you do check out the artist. You check out that the page of the person who put that shirt up, and you see all the other shirts that they put of different artists, artwork, fan art slapped onto a T-shirt.
That, dude, that just...
Is that the same?
It's not the same.
Exactly.
Because, like, you know, and I've seen this a lot too on, and like I've seen it a lot on TikTok in particular, just because like that's kind of been the place where it's been the most blatant, where I would just see like blatant re-uploads of other people's videos, and like, you know, they'll post like a 20-part series of like an episode of a show, and I'm just like, bro, why don't you go look, see if you can find it on YouTube, because I'm sure that's where that person found it, and it just turns into like a madhouse, because you know, I see people who will post clips of like really well-known gamers, and then you'll look in the comments and be like, bro, that was so funny, I can't believe you said that, or like, you know, whatever, and they'll just be completely unaware of the fact that like, oh yeah, by the way, someone else posted that, and there's no acknowledgement of the fact that it's not theirs. And it's like, I wish people on the internet thought about it the same way that you and I think about it, because the way that you and I think about it, it's like, if you're going to use someone else's work, then you should at least acknowledge the fact that the work is not yours. And if you're going to use someone else's work in collaboration with your own work, I still feel like they should be acknowledged. And if it's official artwork from a show, movie, whatever, then it's a little bit different, because it's like,
who am I linking? The Crunchyroll page to watch it? You know?
Who am I linking? Ufotable? Like what? You know, it's like...
They put their website? I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, because it was already put into the public space, and it's already kind of I don't know how to explain it in a way that like makes sense, but you
Because
get what I'm trying to say.
I get it, but you can't explain it that makes sense. That's the problem, and that's why fair use is so loose. Because the thing that either you understand or you don't understand. Then you cannot convince the other, which you cannot convince either party, either side.
Right.
That's what fair use is.
It just gets so muddy so fast because then you talk about like copyright and those types of things. Like, you know, if you are using someone else's content for educational purposes, does that still fit under fair use? Or if you are like
Zach, that Vocaloid playlist I was listening to, Zach, that wasn't by all those different artists that, you know, made those songs. It was by some dude who wanted to make a playlist to share.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, is that the same?
Yeah, and you know, the more that we kind of go down the rabbit hole, the deeper it gets, and the more that you start to realize, like,
see, it's hard. I come from guys like us. We come from a dark age, a dark age of LimeWire and YouTube to MP3.
I still use that, by the way.
I know. We come from those and before mixtapes.
Bro, do you
burning CDs?
Oh my god.
Zach, you know what I mean?
Okay, a little bit of a tangent. Do you remember doing like the whole YouTube to MP3 thing to try to get it on iTunes?
Yes.
That was such a
those were dark times. Those are dark times, Zach.
Bro, I didn't want to spend 99 cents on a song.
I know, for a song.
And
now it's like $1.29. That's great, but it's like now streaming is great. You know, it's like, oh man, bro, what?
Do you remember when you used to have to pay for fucking ringtones?
Yes. You had to pay for ringtones, bro. And I pay for a lot of them, but you know, they're fun. But yes.
I still found my ways around it. Dude, I was a kid who would find a song on the radio that they liked, start like a little recording thing on my phone and put my phone next to like the jukebox or whatever the hell we were using. And then it would just be this really shitty recording as my ringtone.
Exactly. I've done that as well.
You know, it from the perspective of someone like us guy like me, who has had that so ingrained into like what we did in our day-to-day lives when we were growing up, because it was like, you know, there was no copyright infringements there. Well, there were, but like, you know,
way more loosey-goosey.
Yeah. And you know, there were much easier, more accessible ways to be able to get to the content that you wanted. And like, you know, I remember back in the day, my dad used to burn DVDs of movies that he rented from Netflix. Back when Netflix used to rent DVDs.
Yes.
They were like Redbox before Redbox could be Redbox. And so that's what my dad did. And it's so funny, to this day we still have like a whole bunch of like just blank DVDs with the title of the movie written on it in Sharpie and
obviously that's
like
not right, but nobody thought anything of it back then.
Right. Because it was like it was problem solving.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yes, like it's wrong,
but
the culture was different.
Yeah.
Everybody did it. Everybody burned CDs. Everybody made mixtapes. Everybody YouTube to MP3, you know, .org or whatever, .net, .io, .gov. Hopefully not. That'd be funny though.
.edu.
.edu. Oh, hey yo. Everybody did it. So that's where we come from. And now, if anything, I feel stronger I feel better knowing that I come from there, and I can still see how it can be bad. Some people might just be like, bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm gonna just rip that shit. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah. And those are the same types of people who will sit there and record an entire movie on their phone in the fucking movie theater. You know who you are.
Yeah, that's some
fuck you.
Yeah, that's some fucked shit. Okay, that's a bit, you know.
That, I mean, like I said, the extreme on the other end of it. It's like, you know, there are obviously some people who have malicious intent with a lot of the stuff that they do, but the people who are doing it with the best intentions and just like doing itty bitty little tiny things, like, you know, using a song as a fucking
sample.
Then we go into sampling and those types of things, like, and especially in music, like, I know that we talked about music a lot in one of the last episodes, but like it gets so tricky because how many combinations of chords are there in the entire planet?
Right.
Not as many as you'd think. Every single chord progression that could feasibly be done in a way that makes sense musically has been done. And so when you're writing music, you know, obviously it's going to sound kind of similar to something else because music has been around for a very fucking long time.
Zach, have you heard that one song or the one thing? There's like the Axis of Awesome, like the 4 chord songs that can do every single song or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
have you remember
yeah.
that? That was old. That's an old video. And yeah, he played like literally all like tons of hits on 4 chords. But this group of 3 Australian dudes, like a comedy band type thing, and I hope they're doing well. I remember my music tutor showed me this video, and I was like, this is awesome. They're just playing 4 chords, and they play like literally almost like all hits, like a ton of hits from all sorts of genres and all sorts of time zones or time frames.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it gets really, really crazy when you look at like that 4 chord song was like 20 different songs in one song. And that's not even all the songs that follow those same 4 chords. There's so many.
There's so many. So is it okay if some artist an artist makes a song like that kind of sounds like this song? Are you inspired by it, or did you like, you know, like, no, I was just on the piano, I don't know, and I was singing and it sounded good. I don't know. I didn't even know the song existed.
You're like, how do
you search us up a song, Zach? What if you make a melody and a chord progression and you go, has someone done this? How do I look up that? How do I make sure that someone hasn't done that, Zach?
You feasibly could not do that.
You cannot do that. You can't Google search chord progression. Well, maybe you can. And melody. How do I research a melody I've made, Zach?
I don't know.
Do I type the notes out with each rest and temp? No, you don't do that, Zach. So what is the now what? And then the artist drops a song and you're like, oh, you copied this and this and you copied this band. Like, I didn't even know that band existed. I'm sorry, man. You know? Let's go back to keyboard, Zach.
Wait.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's really interesting that we're talking about like sampling and those types of things because I was just listening to a song called I think it's called Blue World by Mac Miller. And he used a sample from like a what is it called? Like a barbershop quartet from, you know, like the 50s. And it was this really cool thing where he played like the first little bit of the original song, and then he like sampled it and used it as a sample while the song was progressing and like everything like that. And so it was almost like he was paying homage to that song because it's a cool song. The original song's super cool. And so like, you know, if you want to find this original song, you can, because he gave you enough of the song for you to know what it was. But, you know, like where does that fine line start where you're like, okay,
can you do that? Is it fine? Is it fine because it's Mac Miller? What if someone else did it, you know?
Yeah. It's super, it just gets stickier and weirder the more that you go into it.
Right. Now then.
Keyboard time.
Not necessarily keyboard time. I'm using keyboard as an example for this because we've talked about this.
Okay.
Now then. Someone like me who was using clone sets, clone keycaps here, clone keycaps over there, clone keycaps for the build I just did. Now I own a GMK set.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to exactly? How do you expect someone like me, do I expect you, Joe Schmo, Zach, to go get into keyboards and want to build one keyboard for himself? He finds the perfect keycap because he's only going to build one. He's not going to settle. He wants one keycap set because it's going to be his one keyboard, and he's going to code Minecraft for the rest of his life.
Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 3. We're going to skip 2. Fuck it. The movie. And he finds a keycap set,
Mhm.
and he goes, am I really going to spend $200 for this keycap set for the only keyboard I'm going to buy? This keyboard set costs, or this keycap set costs more than the keyboard,
Right.
which is made out of metal
And
aluminum
circuit boards and shit.
and brass and
Right.
electronics. And what are we doing here now? This plastic, Zach, but there's plastic with designs on it. Is it different? I don't know. But what I know is that I got into keyboards through using clone keycaps, and now all of a sudden I own an official GMK licensed keycap set. If you want to, Zach, why am I wearing this shirt right now?
Because Demon Slayer.
Because Demon Slayer. Why? At what point? Well, you know how I watched Demon Slayer, Zach? You know why I watched Demon Slayer, Zach? Because 7-8 years ago, I watched my first anime on a third-party streaming service.
Now it's on Netflix.
Now it's on Netflix. Now I pay for a Crunchyroll subscription, and I own figures and posters, official figures and official posters
Right.
of animes.
I think the best defense that I can have for third-party designs of artwork or anything like that, or even of keyboards, or even of camera lenses, music gear, whatever it may be, it's for you to be able to get your foot in the door, so that at some point, if you decide that you want to do so, you can get the real deal and know what you're doing. Because if you decided to just right off the bat go and spend $500 on a keyboard and it turns out sounding like shit, and you're like, wow, this sucks, these parts are garbage, these keycaps are shit. No, you just didn't have enough time to do your research, and you just haven't had enough time in that space to know what you should get for you to get what you want out of it. Like what type of switches should I put in this if I want it to sound like this?
Exactly.
Or if I want it to be a linear switch, or like a tactile switch, or like, you know, just even going to like that much of a surface level, like knowing what kind of switches you want in a keyboard. It's hard if you've never typed on different switches and all of that kind of stuff. So how are you going to do that? You're going to get keycaps and switches that might not be like the highest of quality, but it'll give you an idea of, you know, what stuff is worth spending money on for you.
Yes. Especially for hobby like keyboards, where they can get really expensive.
Yeah.
Especially when you get end game, late game mode. You're like, I'm about to drop almost $500 to $1,000 on a keyboard. If I'm really going to do that, I want to know. I cannot make any changes to this.
Yeah.
This is going to be it. I put in the order, and this is it. This is what I get.
And it's the same thing with like pretty much any hobby that I can think of.
Right.
Because, you know, for example, for like camera gear, like that kind of stuff, you know, you're going to go to the used market. You're going to go to Facebook Marketplace, eBay, AliExpress, you know, and you're going to find a drastic difference. And this is kind of tying into something that I've talked about a bunch of different times when it comes to like photography. There's a drastic range in the quality of the stuff that you get in any hobby. And I mean, I just use photography as an example because I am photo man.
Fatag.
Photographer.
Fat grapher.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I
Look at this graph.
look at this small giraffe. Anyways.
Sorry, I apologize for that. I apologize.
No, you're fine. So anytime I know someone who's like, I really want to get into photography, I'm like, set a budget, like $400. That'll get you something that works, that takes a couple good pictures, and then it'll help you get an understanding of what stuff you want to use in the future. So, you know, like, and that even goes with like brands as well, because, you know, in the budget market, Canon has a bunch of really good stuff. We're looking at that. And so, you know, I'm pretty sure I told you about the M200, or you were asking me about it or something like that. I can't really remember which one, but
something along those lines.
I remember distinctly having a conversation with you about it, and you know, we were going through the spec sheets and watching videos about it and everything like that. And you were like, all right, this is a good bang for the buck. I think this is going to be what I go with. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, you do you, boo-boo. And so getting something that is a little bit on the lower quality end that gets your foot in the door. And that's the same thing with lenses as well. Like, you know, the kit lens that came with your M200.
It came with an M6, but you know.
Yeah. But
I bought the M200 body only, but
yeah, you know it. It gives you an idea of what those focal ranges look like, so that when you decide to go into prime lens land, you can pick out something where you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is going to be really awesome. I'm excited to be able to see what this picture could look like with a really high quality prime lens.
Right.
And then you get a prime lens and you're like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And so it just gives you an idea of what you're getting yourself into, instead of just going down the deep end, buying a freaking 85 millimeter f1.2 and being like, I don't know how to take pictures with this thing.
Right.
Yeah, because it's hard. Yeah, it's very hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. We all know what you mean. But some people don't know what you mean. People in suitcases in suits and ties and briefcases and Dell XPS 13s, they don't know what you mean. Because Zach, if Drake samples your song that you made 30 years ago, you know how much money you can make?
So much money.
You can make so much money. You know, I'm not making money on this. I'm not even a musician anymore. But Drake wants to sample my song I made 30 years ago.
Right.
Aw, shit.
Here we go again.
Whatever quote they throw at me, I'm going to double it.
Yeah, because yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just gets so weird,
It does get weird. But I get it. But I don't get... it's this battle between, are you a hypocrite or not?
It's like Schrodinger's donger.
No, I don't think so. I think you just wanted to say that.
I'm sorry.
I'm just okay. To my head, in my brain, in my small brain, after doing keyboards for a while, the realization that I've came to is that no matter what, these group buys are going to sell anyways.
Right.
Of keycaps and such, and limited time Supreme shirts. They're going to sell out fast. Either way.
They sold Supreme crowbars.
Exactly.
And people bought them.
They bought them, and they're going to throw them in the used market and all that shit. But they sold out, which means the market there has not been saturated yet. So, if that's the case, if I want a GMK Darling, they do a run, I try and get, I go into the group buy, or maybe I missed the group buy by 2 days, I can't buy it anymore. I can't join the group buy. There's extras, but they're too expensive and they're over my budget now. I already had a budget to buy this damn GMK set, but I didn't know when the group buy was. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know I wasn't in their Discord because I have a lot of things to worry about in life. To be in a Discord, to be in so many different Discords and different forums to see when they're gonna do the runtime, and I missed it. And the extras are super expensive. What am I gonna do? And the third party GMK Darling is $800 on eBay. What am I going to do, Zach?
Right.
Right. I'm going to buy a cheap Chinese knockoff that isn't the same quality.
But they actually make some pretty good stuff.
They do make some good stuff, but it's not going to be the super duper sharp they're not going to be the good shit, Zach. It's not the good shit, but it's not, I wanted the good shit. I just couldn't make it.
It's an endless paradox, you know?
And then what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and wait for them to do it again. For the next round of their next drop of the same keycap, which they might not even do. Some of them are just done.
You know, and a lot of people wonder why it's not super common to be into like keyboards and building PCs and that kind of stuff, because shit like this happens where there's this very, very tiny group in this hobby that is just acting like it's so exclusive. Like, oh, if you don't buy official keycaps, then you shouldn't even build a keyboard in the first place.
Mhm.
And then you're sitting there, you know, Joe Schmo, sitting there like, I kind of want to lose some switches and have a grand old time.
Mhm.
And, you know, you don't want to spend $500 on a fucking keyboard that you might accidentally break because you don't know what you're doing.
You work at minimum wage and you go to college.
You just want a nice linear switch keyboard to type your essays on, Arthur.
Yes.
You know, it's like I just don't want to hear I don't want to hear that anymore, man. So I want something that might be a little bit better for what I want to do. And then, you know, you look at the official stuff that's being released, $500, $400, $800. You're like, I don't want to do this no more.
Exactly.
And so that ends up booting you out of the hobby. And then you have these companies that are making stuff that might not be at the same quality, but it's something.
Right. Now there are, I dabbled in this. Nice. There are keycap sets that are in stock, especially like a shout out to Kinetic Labs with like their Kinetic Lab Seal and their Octopus, and I think their Hippo that they just dropped recently. And Divinity, there's all sorts of keycaps there in stock as well, like white on black and black on white. Other fun ones, some ranging from super expensive to not super expensive. KBD fans, all sorts of keycap stuff. There's all sorts of keycaps, Zach. But what if you want a specific keycap, a specific design?
Right.
The one that caught your eye, one that caught your attention, the one that you fell in love with. And
yeah,
the group for that ended 3 years ago.
Or like, you know, if you're trying to be super aesthetic and fit a theme, like your entire setup has like a common theme, and you're just like, I want to keep with this, man. This is kind of sick.
Yep.
And then you're sitting there looking at keycaps and you're like, I can't find anything. And then, you know, what are you gonna do then? You're gonna go to AliExpress, and then you're gonna see what's there, and then you're gonna find something that, you know, it's something. It fits the theme. It looks nice, but it's you know,
yeah,
it
you know,
it really do be like that.
Be like that, you know.
Yeah, it's like
that's the woes of the current market. Of anything, it's like, is it okay? See, Chinese knockoffs is called Chinese knockoffs for a reason, because it's a well-known thing.
Yeah.
Of course there'll be Chinese knockoffs for keycaps. There's Chinese knockoffs for everything. These lights are Chinese knockoffs.
Okay, but low-key though, sometimes the Chinese knockoffs end up working better than the originals do on rare occasions.
Right. So now that's dilemma 2 that I proposed before, Zach.
It's like, what if it's the same quality or better quality at a lower price?
Whose fault is it?
Is it company A that's making you spend, you know, $300 on lights? Or is it company B for lowballing? Or is company A highballing their price?
Or is company B plagiarizing? Is that okay?
Can you plagiarize tech? Like, can you, like, at what point does fair use become fair use?
Do they have to look into their source code and then see, scan the lines? Oh, that's the same. Get them. Get them, boys. FBI, open up. You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
Right.
At what point? You know?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
you know?
Where are we at, Zach? Where are we at? So that's... Also, I've owned so many Chinese knockoff things everywhere. My shelf over there is probably a Chinese knockoff, Zach, that I bought on eBay.
Probably, actually.
Chinese knockoffs are a thing. I don't think that's a knockoff, but I mean, it's just an amplifier, but I'm sure there's a knockoff of that. And it will serve its purpose. Nobody knows what this is because you pointed out something that's hidden behind things and you didn't explain.
The amplifier.
Right, exactly. But nobody saw it. You just pointed at it and it wasn't even on your camera.
Well, you could see it better on you. Anyways.
You can't.
Okay.
I guess you can. No, you can't. It's out of frame. I knocked my crane.
Why'd you throw him?
Because I'm upset.
Poor Jimmy.
Because I don't know how to feel.
I'm conflicted.
I am incredibly conflicted. I don't know what side to stand on. I'm playing the neutral card because I understand both sides. But what is okay? I don't know. Is this really an issue? Like, is this really, does this deserve my attention? It does. But it does.
But does it? You know, it's like us as the average consumers, like we don't really have an obligation to look into the nitty-gritty details of those types of things. But also, as the consumer, I feel like we should be making wise choices on the things that we spend our money on. But then that turns into like, you know, should I buy the name brand because it's the name brand, or should I just go Kirkland? You know, it's
right.
like it's everywhere, dude. You know, it's like batteries. It goes as far as batteries.
It does go as far as batteries.
Kirkland.
Kirkland doesn't have everything. Kirkland is just Chinese knockoff version.
But in America.
Everything. But in America. Yes, American knockoff. Wait a minute.
Where's the line?
There is no line, Zach. That's the problem. That is the problem with what we're talking about, because there is no line. So it keeps bleeding over each other, the two sides. That's the problem. In a perfect world, we would just buy things official. So why do Chinese knockoffs exist?
Money.
The $1 millionth. Sponge me, boy.
Money. Yeah, the fine line between like plagiarism and fair use is like you drew a line on the sidewalk with chalk and then it started pouring down rain.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to distinguish that it almost like it exists, but it kind of doesn't. And where do we play into this as consumers? Philosophical questions.
I don't know. As a consumer, should I know everything? As much research as I do, what if I don't do enough research? You should do research on your product, but some people are just like, man, I'm just going to buy shit, bro. Because it's easy to buy shit. I'm on Amazon, I found a cool thing, I'm like, this shit is not that expensive. I'm just going to buy it really quick.
You're
and
like,
little did
bro,
you know, you just upset a huge fucking crowd.
You're like, bro, it's just pants.
Bro, I just bought pants. I don't know. I didn't know there was all these things. You know, they're just a good value. I don't know.
It's just denim, dog.
Dog. And then you did a thing, and now all of a sudden you're a bad person.
And then the buckle people come after you.
the Levi gang come at you.
The entire population of Old Navy starts knocking on your door.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Zach. I don't know. This is one of the things. There's just never going to be an answer.
It's really frustrating when you and I can sit and talk about something for an hour and not be any further than we were when we started. It's like when we started this conversation, it was just like, I have no idea what's going on. Do you have any idea what's going on? And you're like, I have no fucking idea.
I have no idea. And then now we're at the end, we're here, and we're like, I still don't have any idea. So,
but here's what makes it more complicated, and then presenting more stuff.
All I want to offer, Zach, is insight.
Right.
So now, if anybody listens, to the people that are listening, they can consider it now. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to tell one person to do something.
Right.
if Zach, there's channels that re-upload music that are dedicated to re-uploading music, but they link all the artists and stuff. They link, yeah, they do. But sometimes it's like, oh shit, you know, fuck, I don't know. But there's this cool Vocaloid playlist I want to listen to, but it's not technically from the respective artists. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, the hole becomes deeper, because then you start talking about like things that, you know, especially existed before the internet, that have become, you know, like lost media and that kind of stuff, and the only way to access it is through a third party. Then is that morally right? Should it continue to be lost? You know, like what
Zach and Violet Evergarden during the Observatory episode, are they plagiarizing?
Oh fuck!
Are they plagiarizing, Zach?
I don't know.
Is that fair use?
At what point?
At what point? It's for knowledge, but he copied the text, but it's for knowledge.
The books are falling apart. What do we do?
What do we do? What is the answer?
I don't
say. What is the answer, Sway? There is no. What is that wrong?
At what point does it become like? At what point? You know, I can't even.
But Zach, Anuki, Arthur, Zach PNW. That's an anime. That's fiction. Is that okay? Is that a good message to say? Oh, I mean, hey, Jimmy, why did you plagiarize your paper? Well, I mean, I was watching Violet Evergarden, and and I saw them copy the text.
But when it's for the sake of conservation, at what point does that line not be crossed? Like, you know, you talk about translations of things to a different language, and they're taking something from one language and directly translating it into another, like English dub. Is that part of the problem? Should anime stay in Japan? No, because it's lovely. But the way that we get it in the West is probably not the most morally great, and also not the most legal way to do that. Especially when, you know, back in the early aughts.
Zach, when you obtain VPN XYZ, insert random VPN here. I'm leaving that open in case the VPN wants to sponsor us. Do you know what market strategy they've been using recently? It's not encryption. Oh, that's part of it. It's not privacy. It's changing your region so you can watch different shows on Netflix.
Wait, really?
Yes. Have you not seen these ads, Zach?
I have ads.
You want to what? Is that the paid advertisements, Zach? Of these people, or of these VPNs, are like, yeah, you can use our VPN to change your region to another region, so you could access, access region locked material. What the fuck did you just say? Did you just say that?
Huh?
And Zach, I do that. I do that. I don't know why I pointed at you. I do that with the VPN that I use.
Nezuko does that.
She does this. She has a VPN, Zach. Is that? Whoa! I made content that's not for your region. Get fucked, nerd. Look what I did. Now I'm in your region and you can't tell. What did I do?
Bamboozled.
Exactly. Laws are a fickle thing, Zach. So,
but at what point are you breaking the law? And at what point does that law become unenforceable? You know, it's like the prohibition, Arthur. It's like if there's a will, there's a way,
right?
And people have found a way in the they made it so that you couldn't have said thing. Well, the greater good of the public said, fuck your law, I'm gonna do things my own way. And then it's like the prohibition, Arthur.
Right, yes.
But anime.
Modern time problems, Zach.
I can't watch anime because I don't have a VPN. And it's locked in my region.
There's some things. Anime usually won't do that, but what they will do is have anime trailers that are region locked. I've seen some where it's like there's a trailer, Zach, a PV of a show, maybe an upcoming show or something, and it's gonna have an English sub. It was on Crunchyroll.
Right.
Wait, was it? I can't remember. I think it was. And you couldn't watch it. Because it was region locked for Japan only. And I had to change my location to Japan to watch a trailer. And it was a very good show, by the way. Very sad. Key visuals. Ooh, I know. It was everything I expected. I had to pretend I was Nihongo. Jin.
I wonder what Netflix looks like in Japan.
I could find out.
I just imagine like you sending me a Snapchat of just Japanese Netflix, and it just is so disorienting. But I feel like we beat this point into the ground, but it's still like every single angle you look at it, it just becomes more and more confusing. The more examples we bring up, the less we are definitively sure about our position.
Right.
Because it's a very weird position to be on. Because if someone's like diehard, like, I want to use the official material and I want to make sure that everything is through the appropriate distributor and okay, well, what if they're sold out? I'll wait. What if it's a limited run? Well, then I should have been there in the first place. What if it's region locked? Well, then I wasn't supposed to enjoy that content anyways. It's like you can see where it can just kind of start to deteriorate. And it's the same thing, no matter which way you look at it. If you're diehard in one position, the more examples I bring up, the less you're going to feel like you're like diehard for that thing.
Zach, do you know what that world sounds like?
What?
North Korea. Am I wrong?
No.
Exactly.
It was kind of scary. You were just staring longingly into my eyes. You're like...
Because I want you to confirm if I'm being stupid or not. Does that not sound very similar to that? To that idea of one and only, no need for outside things?
It does.
It does. Is that you?
Are you North Korea?
Are you in good hands? Don't do it, Zach.
Damn it, no. No.
Don't do it.
Why you gotta do me like that? I gotta do it. I have to.
Just don't say the other. Just don't say that one.
Do you have hands?
Thank you. Okay, good.
Wait, what was the other one? I don't even
Then don't worry about it if you don't know.
You're just going to tell me after we're done recording anyways. Do hands have you?
I do not have the answer, Zach.
I thought you were going to say, I do not have hands.
I do not have hands.
I do not hands have. I hate how we're stuck.
We don't have an answer. I proposed a prompt, and we've reached the end of the essay, and there has been no resolution. All there has been are facts. And the conclusion, it depends.
And the conclusion, the last sentence of this 5-page essay, sometimes. It's like the assets. If there is not like a tangible asset that is being taken from you by somebody else, Is it stealing? Well, I mean, yeah, but also kind of not, but also kind of yeah, but also kind of not.
I don't know anymore, Zach.
I don't know anymore either. But what I do know is that if you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. We have links down below to Coffee, Patreon. We have links to all of our socials if you want to keep track on what we're doing in our free time. We're getting back into the swing of things.
Yes, we are.
Having a grand old time.
We're back into it. I'm very happy to be back. Although, I guess by this time, we're definitely back. But, we've been taking some breaks. Should be good now.
Yeah, the dust has settled, and we're just going to keep on keeping on.
So I'm going to propose a question to the people to end it off. What is fair use? Are you following it with every single aspect of your life? From all the mini purchases to the big purchases for the content you use, commercial or personal use, either or. Are you doing your part? Are you following it? And if you're not, is that a bad thing?
I wholeheartedly thought you were going to be like, do you have hands?
Okay. Bye, everybody.
All right. Goodbye. Have a good time.